I didn't preset because I learned that I actually don't have to at all.
Did you yeah.
In order to make these, I'm just kind of thinking, okay. I didn't preset.
Oh,
there we go. We are officially going live right meow.
Yeah.
Yes. In order to make these, I'm just kind of thinking, okay. I didn't there we go. All right. I had to figure out what was happening, and now we're good to go. So I'm going to just start talking as people fill this space.
Okay. And then I have fun would you rathers for you.
Ooh, that's up my jam level area.
I Googled and found some really good ones.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite thing ever. Icebreakers, would you rathers? Ugh. Okay, so for those who are just jumping in right now or rewatching, this is my dear friend Kelley, who is also on the Pigeon Letters design team, who is also a brilliant artist and teacher on Skillshare, who will be walking us through a very fun animated galaxy. I would say multiple elements, mixed digital media, if you will, today. And as we are, that worked so much better than setting something up ahead of time. I just want to say it. Just going to say it. So good. That worked better. We're going to do that from now on. Zero prep work on my end. All right, Kelley. I want to play. Let's play.
Okay, you guys, if you know Peggy, she likes an icebreaker and she likes a would you rather. So I have some would you rathers for Peggy. So Peggy, would you rather have Celine Dion or Eminem perform the soundtrack to your life?
Eminem. Not even a question or hesitation.
Me too. Okay. Would you rather
more.
What?
More.
Would you rather have 100 duck-sized elephants or one elephant-sized duck?
Well, this depends, because I think about these things very literally. So my follow-up question, which I know doesn't exist, but you're going to give me an answer, is when you say if I would have them, what does that entail as far as responsibility for me? Are they like friends?
They're in your yard. They're in your house. Yeah.
I mean, I think I want 100 tiny elephants.
They would be very Instagrammable, wouldn't they? That would be the benefit.
So cute is what they would be. And I wouldn't have anything so big. I mean, if you think about it, when there's food involved and like taking care of things involved, yes, you would have to be more scattered to take care of all like the cleaning up of the tiny elephants. But if it's a gigantic elephant-sized duck, I would still need to like get that much food in that body. I'd have these huge piles to clean up. And like, I could pick my favorites if there's 100 little marchers walking around, So I just think like, and it would be, I take this game very seriously.
It would be good for Instagram, I think, the 100 duck-sized elephants.
Yeah, like it would be its own hurrah for sure.
Okay.
Hands down.
All right. Would you rather adopt a British accent every time you're having a serious conversation, or laugh every time someone cries?
I mean, what? How is this? This is not a comparison, because who wouldn't want to adopt a British accent in a serious conversation, no matter what, always, or in any conversation? So that one against British anything. You guys, I have a confession. This isn't a good one, but I do have a little bit of a confession, which is it's not as bad anymore, but back in the day, whenever I was in a like heated I shouldn't be admitting this. A heated conversation with someone when I was at fault, I actually had that issue. And it's like, I could not sit with discomfort. I couldn't sit with like, laughing was easier than crying. It just came out like I didn't have any control over it. It was so bad. I'm so glad it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, that's an Enneagram 7 thing. We're both Enneagram 7s.
Is it? Yeah, that makes sense, because we want to just be having all the fun,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Would you rather vomit?
I love that you guys are playing along. Sorry, I was just setting up on the edit screen to make sure Kelley's link was in there, so I missed the chat for a second. I love that you guys are playing along. Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Would you rather vomit on your most respected mentor or have your mentor vomit on you?
That one.
The mentor vomits on you.
Fun story. Ready? This is not, it has nothing to do with like projectile vomiting on another human, but this is actually a fun story. Okay. It has nothing to do with what you just said, but I brought it up, so I have to continue. I'll do it really fast. Okay. When I was in Thailand, I went to an elephant sanctuary where they rescued the elephants from the mean people that put the mean trays basically on their backs to hold big fat humans. Like by the foursomes. It was, anyway, and those things break their spines. It's bad. Okay, so we went to a sanctuary and you do get to ride the elephants bareback. So there's just like a rope around them that you can hold on to kind of leverage, and that's it. And we were walking through this village and there were these, like, we were approaching one and these two dogs started barking, and I was on a young elephant. It was like 7, I think. And it turned around really fast and started running. And when it turned around, I like flopped on the side. Like I could not, you're not holding on to anything. And so I'm just holding on to this rope, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to keep holding on to this because when elephants run fast, believe it or not. So I'm like a rag doll on the side of this thing, just going, my shoes flew off, like my bag is off. I have no idea where it is. And then I like look around and they're so tall. So I'm looking down, like, where am I going to jump? Like, I don't know. So I just thrust myself off, not really having a plan at all, land in these bushes. And I cut myself up a little bit, but nothing deep, just like scrapes. And it was fine. And I found my shoes and I was walking back up to where everybody was. And I was laughing, of course, because that's what I do. And they were all talking about like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like making sure. We'll bring you another elephant. I'm like, I just want to hang out. Like, this is cool. Cause there was only 4 of us in this little, we're on our way toward the like elephant spa where they rub their backs against all the fun things. And like, they love it and they play in the mud. But anyway, as we're talking, we're on this hill, approaching this village, and this elephant is standing above me and just full like diarrhea shower all over my entire body. And it's not like I was standing like right here under, but it just happened. And it was so much that I just kind of froze. I could not believe it. And then those nice people in it was a tiny village, and they let me use their little outdoor like shower hose thingy. And so I hosed myself off. It didn't stink. They ate grass and bananas, like whatever. But like, it was a thing, and everything. So I was drenched with like part diarrhea, part blood, part water. Okay, but the funny thing is, they did bring me another elephant. It was much taller because it was very old, and I was on it for a little while after that. And I'm like, I just feel a little bit shaky, so I'm going to just get off and walk, but everything's fine. I feel happy. Don't worry. Everything's great. But then I got a staph infection because my foot, I didn't clean it off well enough. Oh. So the diarrhea from the elephant got in the scratch.
Oh, so it's inside you.
Yeah, so that's my cute story. That's probably way grosser than anything that just happened with that. Would you rather? Thank you for letting me share it. Totally off topic, like I said, but this is the way my brain works. I just went there and
So you would rather have your most respected mentor vomit on you?
Yeah.
And I would rather
out.
Yeah. And I would rather, you are my most respected mentor, so I choose you vomiting on me. So somebody's going to vomit on you, and then you vomit on me, and then we'll be done.
The fact that I just got to tell that entire story, and then you said that. Thank you, first of all. Also, that just like makes it so much better. Oh my gosh. Okay. Good. I love that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. Good. I feel like that's a really good, I don't know if you have more, but I think that's a really good cap to our game as we get into this.
Yes.
I could seriously, is there a podcast based on Would You Rather yet? Because I feel like that's my podcast. You know what I mean? Like people
We could do that.
I just feel like that is my calling. That makes sense to me.
That would be good.
Kidding. I'm not kidding. Nope. Look at this epiphany that's happening right now. I feel really good about this idea.
Yeah, you need another business, Peggy. I was thinking that.
You too. All right. I'm gonna turn this over, you guys. We're gonna get into business. Thanks for hanging out and playing our game. Okay, so we are doing Procreate. Can't speak. I'm gonna spotlight Kelley's iPad now, and she's just gonna take us on a journey. And there we go. And I'll be here. She'll be here. You won't see our faces, but there we will be.
Hi, everyone. Today we are going to do the spinning galaxy animation, and I am going to walk you through every step. It's going to be fun. I have isolated the elements that you need, and they are available for free at kellybrenburke.com/galaxy. And you can download the elements there. Otherwise, I'll talk you through how you can isolate them yourself.
I did also get a chance to add that link in. So you guys, well, actually, let me test it first. Yeah, if you click the link right below the video, what she just said, that will pull up at any point for you that you need.
Yes. So they are all there. And this woman right here is from Flickr. She's from 1925. Her name is Gilda Gray. And I Googled her because I'm a Googler, and she was known as the goddess of the shimmy. So, and she's still shimmying with her little galaxy dress. So
I love that.
I know, the goddess of the shimmy. Wouldn't that be a great name? A great thing to be known for?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we are going to do first is we are going to go to, here's Gilda Gray, her Wikipedia page, but we are going to go to Flickr to look for Gilda Gray. If you want to do it this way instead of going to my website. Flickr has great old vintage photos, and to find them, you would go to, whoops, now I'm on Unsplash. You would go to Explore, and then the Commons. And then you want to search down here in this box. That's really important rather than searching up there. And you would find her, if you wanted, by searching Gilda Gray. And that's with an EY. And here she is right here. And sometimes on Flickr, you can get a larger image by looking down here, but that's not the case here. So what we want to do is go to this arrow for downloads and download the original one, which is the largest one. So we tap download, and then it'll go into our files on the iPad. And if you want to look at more great images, I have so many galleries saved in Flickr. Feel free to find me on Flickr as Kelley Burke. And there's just so many fun images, you guys. I'm into ladies' home journal lately. And there's these weird, great, none of these are really that weird, no. Like this one, ladies' home journal from the husband's new love. There's just such weird things with people in bras, and I don't know. I love Flickr. I spend a lot of time on Flickr.
That's the thing though, is like every single time I'm looking for something, okay, maybe not like 90% of the time, I end up choosing something that wasn't really in my head at first because of the search result. It's like, wow, this is an opportunity for fun.
Yes, I totally agree. And I have maybe even 1,000 images now saved on Flickr in different categories.
I need to go to your library because I want to look at it real bad.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. So that is how we get Gilda Gray. And I also have a gallery here just for our tutorial. It says November live tutorial. Here's Gilda. And here is the map that we're going to be using for the background. You could actually use any background for your map. This is what I am using, and you would download it the same way with this arrow, and then you download the original. Oh, I tapped view all sizes. I don't want that. So the arrow here, and then download the original one, which again goes to your files. And one more place for free photos, Unsplash is my favorite. I also have a gallery there under my name, Kelley Bren Burke, or you could just search Galaxy. This is the Galaxy I'm using right here. It's a photo by Andy Holmes. But you could also search Galaxy in Unsplash and just find, those are paid images.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use anyone. Which one do you like?
Well, I'm only looking on your screen, and it's also shrunk. So, but from a distance, that one in the dead center, the pink
This
and
one?
black. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very unlike me to choose something so pink.
Yeah. I'm going to add that to my collage elements thing so I can have that in the future. So anyway, the Galaxy that I'm using, the way to save it from Unsplash is you just find your Galaxy. This isn't my Galaxy, but I'm just going to show you how to do it here. And Unsplash, you just hit download and then download again. And again, they're all in your files right up here. So we've downloaded the elements that we need, and now we're going to go back into Procreate, and we are going to create a new canvas. So tap the plus, and I have a canvas saved here. It's 8x10 at 300 DPI. But if you wanted to do it yourself, you could just tap that little rectangle, choose inches up here, and then 8. I always get confused with the width and height. That's a funny thing. Let's see if I did it right. I bet I didn't. Oh, I did it right.
You know that if you don't, you can just, you probably already know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can just do that.
Yeah.
That's why I just gamble.
Yep.
I'm willing to like gamble and see how that goes.
Yep.
Okay. So we are going to start by isolating Gilda Gray, the goddess of the shimmy. So we are in our canvas, and we're going to go tap insert a file. And here she is. And again, I isolated this for you. You can use that, get that from my website. But I am also going to just show you how to do this on your own, so you know how to do it. The first thing I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is go to this ribbon and make sure I'm on freehand down here. And then I'm going to trace around Gilda just inside, it sounds weird, but just inside her skin. I'm going to start on her shoulder here. And we get these little, pardon?
Oh, just making commentary. No, the reason why, tell everybody, you were probably literally going to, but why are you doing just inside? I know why.
It's because so you don't catch, I would rather lose some of the inside than get the background in with her.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah. So you're just using your pencil to trace. And if you do make mistakes here, you can clean it up. I usually use an airbrush for that. I'll show you how to do that, or a monoline. But we're just tracing here. And when you have a relatively straight line, you can just tap. But that didn't exactly work. But I mean, that worked, but I wanted to go around that curve first.
I just want everyone to know that I'm very disappointed, because while I had this really wonderful idea, it looks like the market is not untapped, and there is already a would you rather and a this or that. So don't worry. I'm going to brainstorm how I can fill my own gap somehow. But until then, I just am giving everyone an update, not to expect a podcast drop next month. So, you know.
Rather than tracing all the way around and potentially losing it like I did last time, I'm just going to circle back around to my original dot and then do a cut and paste right here. And when I do that, it looks the same, but what we've done here is we are just starting to isolate the background from Gilda. So I'm going to delete the thing that I just cut, and I'm going to carry on isolating Gilda.
I have a question.
Yep.
Why did you copy paste and not just cut?
It's because it's like the careful side of me. Sometimes when I'm feeling, I mean, I could undo it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's like having it there as a just in case. There are times where I will do the same, and then I don't cut the background out until I'm like totally sure I have everything that I want.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
And sometimes I like to look at the background and see if I left anything crucial out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just tracing around her shoes, which I love vintage shoes. Peggy, did you ever wear Fluvog shoes?
No, but I know about them, and they make them now, and like still like really nice ones, like artisans do. Yeah. But they're like $450, and it's like, I just will never wear them enough to justify.
I used to wear Fluvogs, and they were like $100 some back in the day. And I wore Fluvogs under my wedding dress on my wedding day.
Mm-hmm. You're so cool.
It was kind of cool. I gotta tell you, it was kind of cool. And then what I did was I'm going up her leg too far because I'm cutting out her little rope here. So I'm gonna 2-finger tap to undo. And then what I did was I sold them all on eBay, my used Fluvogs, for a lot of money.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think I have any more Fluvogs left, but I still love the aesthetic of the vintage shoe look.
Yeah, I do too. I have some that are like costumey ones that I bought for a costume. And I don't usually save things like that take up space because I'm not a hoarder, but I have tendencies, especially when it comes to costumey things. But no, these ones, they totally pass. And while they fit terribly because it was kind of like a small, medium, large deal, I'm not kidding. Okay. It wasn't. They are whole sizes, but you can tell that they're just like not legit. But they look legit. So I've kept them, and I've only worn them that one time. But okay, I'm going to stop. I just literally admitted to being a hoarder. Like roundabout. Now we know my truth.
Peggy Dean, hoarder and elephant diarrhea recipient.
It's a really good story. Like, it's a story that y'all are jealous you can't tell. First person. Oh man.
I love it when you casually drop in conversation. Back when I was a fire dancer. Oh, yeah. I think that's cool. That's cooler than wearing Fluvogs at your wedding.
No, it's not cooler. It's different. I mean, I get why it's cool, but that's like, I think that's an exposure thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about what people are exposed to all the time, is it super, super, super cool? Or is it just like another choice you can make to do? I think singing is rad, but singing is pretty mainstream and everybody like, but when you know somebody who's super talented and then they're performing live, it's like, this is super cool. So here in Portland, we have, at least we did have a thriving, like a vaudeville-ish circusy like scene. So I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's cool. Fire dancing is cool, but I also want to say it's very dangerous. So please don't think it's that cool.
So you're talking about going like people singing. So just real quick, would you rather go on tour with Elton John or Cher?
Oh, Elton John.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay. Gosh dang it. I wouldn't mind if you dropped those in. I would not mind if you dropped those in at random. Okay.
So Gilda's isolated here, and you can see that there are some places where it's a little rough. The background did get in. I wasn't into her skin enough. So I'm going to grab a hard airbrush, which is part of just the default Procreate airbrushing set. I'm going to grab the hard airbrush as an eraser and just kind of clean it up here by kind of just tickling the outside of it a little bit. Speaking of Elton John, did you ever see that Elton John documentary?
Yes.
Yes. My husband and I were doing the Would You Rathers this morning, and he brought up, I think Elton John was kind of temperamental in this documentary. So he brought up that going on tour with Elton John might not be as fun.
Yeah, but like, it's Elton John. So
yeah, that's true.
Not that I don't like, I mean, Cher's great and all, but she's not like I know she's an icon. She's not my icon. Whereas like Elton John is everyone's icon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are some songs that have been coming up recently that I never really put too much, like I never paid much attention to before. Like I just didn't care. And now I'm like, oh, that is so good. Like Rocket Man, I used to not care about. And recently I'm just like, gosh, that song, I just love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I am like that absolutely with Elton John. And I'm also like that with Lionel Richie and the Commodores. Like when I was young, I was like, you know, whatever, but so good.
Yeah.
So good. You know, I did kind of a messy job.
We were doing years. Yeah. I think, you know what, there's something special though about like, let's say you weren't doing a smooth trace. I know that this is Kelley's teaching. I just love interjecting all my opinions. But you know, like the paper cut look, like that's a thing. And people sometimes will isolate so much to where like, let's say Kelley just did that with, let's say she did paper cut or whatever. And then she duplicates it, locks it so that she can fill that layer with black and then set up a Gaussian blur so that she can create, okay, she's going to do it. So she duplicates it. She goes to alpha lock and then she fills that layer with black. Okay. And then she takes alpha lock off and then she goes to Gaussian blur. And then she boosts the Gaussian blur just a bit to kind of add a drop shadow. I'll do it extreme so you can see what it looks like extreme. This is 14%, 30%. So then you offset it just slightly like on the bottom left or something, like you can move that drop shadow where you want it. That will make it pop off the background. And if it's paper cut, then it looks almost like thick cardstock. It's really cool. So that's just like a thing. So if you guys do a really bad choppy job, like it's not necessarily a bad job. It's just like, ooh, this is like, I could now turn this into looking more like XYZ or whatever. So if you don't want it to be super smooth, that's just an option. There's so much fun stuff we can do with like digital mixed media. Anyway. Yes, I agree. And I put my blend mode on multiply for my shadow, which I like to do. So usually it says N for normal. And I did M for multiply. I like to do that for shadows. And then what Peggy was talking about was offsetting it. So I'm on the shadow layer. I tap this arrow. And what I usually do is go down to this corner and just tap like 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's a little extreme. So then I bring down the opacity of my shadow layer that's on multiply. So now I'm on opacity and I slide that on down to maybe I'm at 40%. And a trick I learned from Tila that's really helpful is you don't really know what a shadow looks like until you turn it off, right? So I turn it on and off a couple of times and see how it looks. So that looks good. So we have a shadow. So I'm going, pardon? I was saying like, if you want one, which you don't have to have one, but if you want one, it is something to play with for fun. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So we have Gilda, she's isolated and I'm going to do a little circle behind her in a peach color that I have saved. So I'm going to go to my brushes. I have the Pigeon Letters ink pack. I'm grabbing the Pigeon Letters monoline to draw a circle on another layer. And I'm going to drag this circle behind her. And I'm going to draw a really rough circle and Procreate will make it good. So I created an ellipse, but I want to edit the shape and make it a circle. So that is done. I'm going to want this to be a little bit smaller, the circle, but I'm going to color fill it first by grabbing that color and filling it in. So to make it smaller, I'm going to tap on this arrow and just kind of adjust it
So it's like just a little bit under her coat here, just for a little flare. And I don't know if I centered her. I'm going to go back to the group that has Gilda. I'm going to name her Gilda. I love all these old names too. Gilder, that's fine.
Oh, I love it. I love them too. Do you name your devices?
I don't. I've named my cars, like my car is a Mazda and I call it Zoom Zoom. Zoom Zoom the second.
I've never, and I feel like it's just right up my alley to name devices, cars, et cetera. Like it's just something I would do, but I just have never done it. And I finally, this laptop that I'm on right now, it's new. I replaced my old one that when I typed H, it would show up like 17 times. And so this one's name is Hilda to honor the H. And it just feels like it is a thing. Like it feels good. I tried to name my iPad after the fact, but I already had it for a while that I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. But this feels like I'm in a relationship now in a way that I'm going to treat this thing better than I treated the last one.
Well, maybe, and it will treat you better than the other one treated
right.
you with the H thing.
Sweet Hilda.
Yeah. Well, and now we have Gilda and Hilda.
Yes, Gilda and Hilda. I love it. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so around my circle, I'm going to do a fun little dotted circle, which you could draw or you could download from my page. It's just a dotted circle stamp. So I have the same peach. I'm going to make another layer. It could be above or below the circle. And oh, that's really big. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Or how about smaller? I want to do it so it doesn't like cut up, keeps cutting off the page. Boop. All right. I'm a trained professional, you guys. This is good enough. I'm going to go to this arrow and we're on uniform and I'm going to just transform it a little bit. So it's going to be centered around the circle just for a little extra something. I think that looks pretty good. So here she is. No, it doesn't look good. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It looks fine. And we are actually cruising right along. I'm going to group these together and label it circle or something circle-ish. Yes. And now we're going to import the map, which we're going to use as a background. That's the map, the old vintage map that we downloaded from Flickr. So wrench, insert a file. And here's that map. And I'm going to spin it around. I'm on uniform still. I'm going to grab this little green dot and just spin it around this way. And then I'm going to stretch it out. This map has like a circle in the center too. So I'm going to kind of make sure that that circle is aligned with our circle. And I'm going to stop right here because the map is in front of the circle. So I'm going to drag the map down and there we go. And this map has a lot of color. So I'm going to show you two things here. So you can do any color you want. We can change the color of the map here by going to hue, saturation, and brightness, which is something that I didn't do for a long time with Procreate. But once I started, it's awesome. So we are going to go to Magic Wand, hue, saturation, and brightness. And we could change the whole color of the map just by tooling around down here on hue, saturation. It's so fun. So I don't know if I love any of these colors, but it's really good to have these options. So I'm going to bring it back to where it was at about 50%. And now I'm going to bring the saturation down so it'll be more gray. And I'm going to bring the brightness up. So right now my saturation is at 21%. My brightness, it always starts at 50%, and I'm going to make it just a little bit brighter. You can do this however you want. I'm going to have it at about 67%. I'm going to try that. And then I'm going to bring the opacity of this map down. So I'm going to go to the map layer. I'm going to tap N and I'm on opacity, and I'm just going to bring it down so it's just kind of a subtle background for her. Right now that's at 30%. I think I like that. And what I do, I learned this from Peggy actually, is if I'm not sure how something looks, I'll make it really small and then really big and get an idea that way. It just helps you look at things different ways. And I think I like that.
It's like when you walk away from a gallery wall that you're putting together or any project and you walk further away.
Yes.
It's just so much easier. You don't have to walk further away at all. Just finger pinch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like that. So I have my map saturation at 30%. My map opacity at 30%. And I adjusted the hue, saturation, and brightness. And any questions, Peggy?
No, we have, I think that people are mostly just following along. We have names. We've got Stacy names her devices, Edgar, Jarvis, Norbert, Teresa named her cutting machine, Dave. These are things that are very important for me to know.
Okay. We're probably maybe even more than halfway through. So I'm going to do another would you rather, Peggy.
Oh, please.
Would you rather nobody remember who you were at your 20-year-old class reunion or have everyone comment on how old you look?
Okay. I feel like I'm going to humbly say that I want people to know who I am in the sense that like, I want to have a positive impact, right? I just do. It's a thing. Maybe it's an ego thing. I'm fine admitting that, but I'm also one of those people, and maybe this is because I don't have gray hair yet, and I've only had like a couple strands here and there, starting at 33 years old. Haven't found any new ones yet, but I really feel like I'm going to embrace it so hard. I've been so excited for so long. I was so excited when I was a hairstylist, and my friends who were like, at the time we were like 20, and they had some, I was like, oh, gray hair. And then they'd start bawling. And I'm like, why did I say something? But I just feel like I earned this. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that. See how much thought I put into these answers. This is why I feel like Podcast City. But then I realized as we were talking, and I was like, don't bring this up, Peggy. But now I can, because you've opened an opportunity for me. I feel like maybe I want the podcast to be so that I can answer these questions. Narcissistic, but at the same time, like, you guys have to understand and relate that, like, when you put thought into it, it's like, no, this changes things. Like, it's fun. It's like playing fairy tale dress up imagination land all over again. Okay, so don't ask me a would you rather question, because we will be here for 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna say how old I am, and I think that that's like opposite of what anyone would ever say, but that's my answer.
Yeah. So you want to go to your high school reunion, everybody tells you how old you look.
Yeah, I totally do, because I'd be like, yeah, and I earned it. So what do you know about that?
Yeah. I don't know. I like, you're vain. I think you're kind of vain either way. Like that's what it forced. Like, do you want the vanity of looking youthful or the vanity of being memorable and known, or the connection of being known? I don't know.
Well, I think it's fine. I think Teresa, who is in the chat right now, can relate. I think Teresa might have the same answer. I think some of us just want to be seen. Oh my gosh. That's me trying to make myself feel a little better. Okay.
We are going to draw a dress, or I call it a dress. I think this is technically a swimsuit. She's wearing a old-timey swimsuit. So we're going to trace over that, and then we're going to put a clipping mask on her dress to give the galaxy effect. And I will show you what I mean. So I have a new layer here that is going to be her dress that we're going to draw, but I'm also going to import the galaxy by going to wrench, insert a file that we downloaded from Unsplash, and then there it is. And so we want this to be covering her dress, and we're going to apply a clipping mask. So a clipping mask, I'm just going to show you real quick how that works. So I'm on the galaxy layer, and I want to go right below it and add a new layer underneath the galaxy. And right now that layer is blank. I'm going to go back to the galaxy. I'm going to tap clipping mask. And what a clipping mask does, I'm going to grab this monoline again from the Pigeon Letters ink pack. It will, I'm going to make it big so you can see. It's going to put that galaxy texture on anything that I draw. So we're going to, like, I did that really scribbly, but we're going to draw a dress on her more nicely like that. That looks very unflattering right now, the way her dress is, but we're going to draw it nice. And that's how we're going to do it. So I am going to clear this layer right now. I'm on the layer below the galaxy that has a clipping mask. I'm
doing a bad job, but there is a question, and it is the circle at a lower opacity?
It's not, but you could do it if you wanted, or you could play with the blend modes. Like I'm on a circle right here. It's just kind of a pale. I'm on the circle here. It's kind of a pale color. So if I do the N here, then you could do different things. This is a bad example because it's so light.
I was following too. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So like there's a multiply thing here where there's a blend mode on top of the map. You could do that if you wanted to. Or I'm on multiply. I'm going to bring it back to normal. You could also, going back to the hue changing, if you weren't sure what color you wanted your circle to be. I'm on the circle layer. I'm going to go to my magic wand. I'm going to tap hue, saturation, and brightness. And it always starts at 50%, but you can drag it along here and see what kind of color works best. Like there's kind of a yellowy color that I liked there. So I always do this now before I finish something. This 57% is kind of nice. But yeah, playing with hue, saturation, brightness is my jam.
Agree.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the layer underneath the galaxy. I just grabbed a bright teal so you could see it, but it doesn't really matter what color I'm using because the galaxy is going to be covering that up as a clipping mask. So again, I have my Pigeon Letters monoline. I'm going to bring it down. It's at about 18% now. Let's see how it goes. And I'm just going to trace. It's too big. That's too small.
No. Stop.
What? Oh, I'm on the peach layer. Shoot, I was on my, that's what was happening. I drew on my peach layer. So I'm going to undo that.
I draw on the wrong layer so much. Lucy, you got to stop. Do you hear her seal honk?
Yeah. Hi, Luce.
You're like, oh, it's adorable. And I'm like, nope, it's not adorable. That's for sure.
I had a senior citizen dog, Peggy. It's tough. It can be tough.
Yeah.
My Murphy, my bulldog Murphy is going to be 9 in January.
Man, well, maybe you'll think that it's almost time and then they'll be 15 one day and you're like, wow, still going, huh? I mean, I really thought I was going to be broken up, but at this point I'm like, oh, sweetie pie, you lived a good long life. Oh, man.
She's sneezing, did you say?
Nope, she's just having, like, a year ago, she started sounding very different when she barked, and now it's like a seal honk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
everyone.
I'm tracing around her, and then I'm going to color fill it like we've done earlier. Okay, so I've traced around it, and I'm going to color filled the dress, and ta-da, we have a galaxy dress. And I'm just going to go back to this eraser and see if I want to clean anything up. So eraser, back to that hard airbrush, which is part of the airbrushing set on Procreate. And I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit, like right there. Other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. And so whoops, I took away her galaxy dress. Redo. There we go. So we are done with the illustration part of this animation. So you have a fun little illustration. I could make her a little bigger, I think. I am going to group her with the circle temporarily. So I'm on the Gilder layer, and I'm going to go to the circle layer, and I'm going to swipe to the right on both of those. So those are like kind of temporarily grouped. I'm going to go to this arrow, and I'm going to make it her and the circle just a little bit bigger, I think. And I want to center it. So I'm waiting until I get these gold lines in the center on Procreate. I think I like that. I think I'm also going to bump up her brightness a little bit. So I'm going to go back to my Gilda layer, hue, saturation, and brightness under the magic wand. And I'm going to bring up her brightness a little bit. Yeah, I think she wants to be a little bit brighter. So you could like completely bleach her out like that. And I'm going to bump her up about 59%. I think that looks good. 56, whatever. Okay, so we are done with this part, and the animation part is going to be so quick and easy. You guys are going to be amazed. I hope. I shouldn't promise. I shouldn't like set up X. You'll be pleased, mildly pleased. So we're going to go back to the gallery. We're going to get out of here, and then we're going to duplicate this by swiping to the left and doing duplicate. And I always save an original illustration and then create the animation. Just so I have it, because I'm going to be like moving layers around here and such. So we have our duplicated Gilda. Any questions, Peggy, before we get started in the animation bit?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. So to prep for the animation, I am going to think about what I want in the background and what I want to move. Okay, so what's going to be moving is the galaxy. And the galaxy is going to be spinning around in a whole circle. I'll show you exactly how to do that. But what I want to do here first, I'm going to go to this arrow, and I'm going to bring the galaxy. This is the galaxy layer here, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit tighter, and I'm going to make her dress a little bit better. I should have done that sooner, but I just want to get it so it has a cool pattern to start. I like it like this. So again, I have that dress and the thing as a clipping mask. And for the animation, the only thing that's going to be moving is the galaxy, which is on top of the dress. So I am going to move Gilda's shadow into the background. This circle thing is going to become the background. I'm just going to call it that. So these are the things that are going to be holding steady as our galaxy moves. So Gilda's shadow, and I'm going to drag Gilda down, and I'm going to bump this map up so it's all right here, because these are going to be holding steady in the background. Go up there. Go up, nope. I think there's this thing now, I think with the new Procreate update that I messed with my opacity. I think you can't go up, but you can go down or something. Let me see. Oh, there we go. So now these guys are all grouped together in the background. So I could turn off. Oh, did I duplicate Gilda? No, that's her dress. So in the background, we have Gilda, the shadow, the two circles, and the map. So I could turn that off. And I duplicated everything, Peggy. That's weird. You guys don't have to do this part because I just did some weird duplication thing when I was trying to move things around. So this is not part of it unless you made the same mistake I did. So in the background, we have Gilda, her shadow, the circles, the map, and the things the thing that's going to be moving is the galaxy, which is clipped to her dress. So that's what we have right now. And we're going to turn Animation Assist on. So we're going to go to Wrench, Canvas, and we're going to toggle Animation Assist on, and then our screen's going to look different, really different. With the new Procreate update, they changed the colors once you do that. And we don't want these funky colors, so we're gonna adjust it so it doesn't look like that. When you turn Animation Assist on, you get this new toolbar at the bottom, and this toolbar corresponds exactly to the layers. So you can see two things down here, and these are the two groups up here. So if I tap on this one right here, that's the background layer. the one that we labeled background, and I'm going to toggle the background on. And so that's going to hold steady while our galaxy moves around. And what we're going to do here is we are going to duplicate our dress and our galaxy once to start. And we're just going to be duplicating it 7 times as we twist it around, but duplicate it once. And now go up to the top layer. And again, Procreate is changing the color there. It's an animation thing that will help us, but I don't want it to change the color. So I'm going to turn the onion skin frames off. So here we have settings in the toolbar, and these are different things. There's the onion skin frames. We don't need them here. So we're going to turn them all the way down. So it's going to say none. So the color is not going to change. We also have here different types of animation, which I'll explain later. I know the frames per second for this. I don't know how fast I want it to be, but I know I don't want it to be 15, which is Procreate's default. So I'm going to bring it down to about 5 to start, and we'll adjust that later. Are there any questions? Because I know this part is getting a little, no? You there, Peg?
Yeah, Teresa said she's explaining it so well, no one has questions.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you, Teresa. Teresa, I'm wearing my Kelley lip stuff that I learned about from you. Kylie Jenner.
You like it?
I do. It's drying. It reminds me of like an old school one from back in the day, like Revlon or something. I like it. It stays on. I like that part of it. It's a little dry, but other than that, I like it. Teresa wears one called Boss, I think, a bright red one.
She likes that hot red.
Teresa trivia, she used to only wear a red lip on Sundays because she thought people would think she was showing off otherwise. Anyway, so we have our duplicated layer above. I'm going to tap on the galaxy clipping mask. I'm going to tap on this little arrow up here, and I'm going to rotate my galaxy 45 degrees just by tapping on, I'm on uniform, and then rotate 45 degrees. And we're going to do this 7 times to make a full circle, because 360 divided by 45 is 8. So we want 7 different layers. So I already did this math for you. Okay, 1 layer, 2 layer, duplicate the top layer, go back to the galaxy, go back to the arrow, go back down here and rotate your dress 45 degrees, or your galaxy rather, not your dress. And we're just going to do that. We're just going to keep doing that. Duplicate the top layer, arrow, rotate 40. Oh, I rotated her. That's what happens if you rotate her dress 45 degrees. We don't want that. We want to rotate the galaxy 45 degrees. So arrow, rotate it 45 degrees. And again, galaxy, arrow, 45 degrees. Duplicate, galaxy, arrow, 45 degrees. And then we count our layer groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one more time. And then we're actually, you guys were almost done. So duplicate, galaxy, arrow, rotate 45 degrees. And now we are going to have an animation, or we should. So I'm going to hit play, and there is her galaxy dress spinning around. Ta-da! Is the crowd going wild, Peggy?
I love it. It was delayed on my end, but now I see, and it looks amazing. Yeah. I think that the chat is delayed, so we're gonna wait a second for the ta-da, and then you guys have to be so amazed and so excited and tell me if it worked for you, if you're following along. Oh, I love it. It's so fun to isolate just one part of it.
Yeah.
So good.
Thank you. I know I was pleased with myself when I dreamt this up. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like, it is so funny how easy it is, because it's like, okay, we're gonna do all this work, and then boom, it's done.
Yeah, it is. It's super, super easy. I'm also gonna show people how to bring it into iMovie so they can share it on Instagram easily.
Oh yeah.
So if we are ready for that, we can do that next. So you could save it as a GIF, and there's two things. There's GIFs and there's animation, and a GIF will play over and over and over and over again. And an animated MP4, you'll have to press play, and then it'll play for 15 seconds or however many we do it. You could do either, but the negatives of a GIF is that it'll get scrunched, it'll be smaller, and the quality won't be as good. So I have stopped doing GIFs as much, and I use this iMovie thing because it retains the quality a lot better, and it's not too difficult. So we're going to do that. Are there any questions before we go into that part of it, Peggy? No? I can't.
I was talking, but I was on mute. No, we are finally seeing the chat though of so fun and love. So yes, no questions. I'm surprised, but I think that you do a really good job breaking down animation, because I don't know what it is, but it can seem so intimidating, even for me, because I don't do it all the time. And then you're just like, okay, so this is all we're doing. And so it's just really easy.
Thank you. Yeah. I learned animation from the iPad lettering person, Karen, right?
Yeah, Karen lettering, I think.
Yeah, she did
iPad. No, it's just iPad lettering. Yeah,
iPad lettering, Karen. And I bought a course of hers a long, long time ago. And animation was the last, just a Procreate course, was the last segment. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It seems like I don't. And then I loved it. And it was kind of the same with collage. Like, I was not interested in collage. I was not interested in animation. And now they're my biggest love. So I love like experimenting, and you just never know what's going to stick.
Yeah, it's so true. That's what I love about all of this, is it just like opens new things. It's like you said from the get-go, like you never even knew you'd be interested in collage itself, let alone, like you said, animation. But it's like, now this is like totally your jam.
Mm-hmm. It is. So we are going to export her into iMovie. So we're going to go to Wrench, right? Share. Yep. And animated MP4 is what we're going to pick. So I am going to hit export, and it's going to go into my camera roll. It gives you the option of putting it into iMovie. Oh, it doesn't usually work, but it worked for me. So I just moved it into iMovie. That's great. I'm going to hit create new movie, and there she is. But you could also, if that didn't work for you, you can hit this plus here, tap movie, and then bring her this 4-second MP4 into your movies by tapping create movie. Either way works. And iMovie will take your tall thing and make it square. So to change that, you tap down here and it becomes yellow. And then you get this tiny magnifying glass up here, and it says pinch to zoom. So now we can get her all in there. And all we're doing here is we're duplicating it. So I'm going back to the bottom here.
Katie said, Kelley, you made me love it all. Like, as far as all of this fun stuff, opportunity.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Makes my day. It's so like creativity, like teachers like you, Peggy, have meant so much to me. You know that. And creativity has really changed my life for the better. And so the idea of sharing that and sparking something else in someone, I know you and I both live for that kind of thing.
Truly magical. It's so moving. Yeah.
Yes. So we have our one Gilda down here. She's yellow. And now there's a duplicate option down here. So I'm going to tap duplicate. And what iMovie will default to is these two little triangles here. So that brings a weird transition that we don't want. So we want no transition. So we're going to tap none. And so then it's just a little dash in between there. So we're going to go back, and it'll tell us how long it is. It's an 8-second movie right now. So I'm going to duplicate it one more time, maybe more. And again, we have this transition with the triangles. I tap that. That's a transition. I want no transition. So I tap none. I'm going to go back up here, tap on her, and then duplicate another time. And it's going to be a 15-second animation. So if we tap play up here, then there she is. Her galaxy dress is spinning around again. So when you do it this way again in iMovie, it really helps preserve the quality of what you're doing here. And so here we go. And what we're going to do next is we are going to hit, we are going to save it. So I'm going to hit done here. And I'm going to go to this little square with an arrow share button here. And I'm going to hit save movie. And it's going to go into my camera roll. And then we have one more step and we're done. We just have to crop it once it's in the camera roll. And I'll show you how to do that. That's easy peasy too. So it's exported. We're going to my camera roll. Here she is. And because we made it tall, there's this black around it. So we just go to edit and then we go to this little square thing over here and we drag the sides in. So she's tall again. And then we hit done and we are done. So you hit play here and for 15 seconds, your galaxy dress is going to rotate around. Yeah.
I love it.
That's what we got.
I love it. And then, yeah, those dimensions are perfect for sharing. I love it. It's so fun. You covered a lot in the perfect amount of time. I love it so much. I was wondering how that was going to go. It's like, oh, more you say.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so cute. Yeah. And then you guys, if you think about like all the things that you can do with such a simple technique and the things that you can isolate, like it really, really exercises your creativity kind of effortlessly. And I think truly one of the most fun parts about that is in the photo search itself, because that's where you're like, ooh, I could use this and isolate this part, or I could use this and do this to it. Like even what Kelley just pulled up with just that like circular shape that looks, kind of like a moon or something, like even that alone is fun. And that doesn't include a collage, I mean, a picture, but it even looks collagey. So like, there's just so much opportunity.
Yeah. I've been doing, well, obviously I'm doing a lot of collage. I'm just having fun. This is a fun ladies' home journal lady. I love collage. I'm so happy I took your collage class on Skillshare, Peggy, because it's just so much fun.
Well, and now you have a ton too that are even more updated. So, and animation is included. And then you have your 14-day prompts.
Yes, that is coming soon. I think early 2022 is when I will do that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to do a 14-day collage prompt challenge on Skillshare, which is a follow-up from my animated collage on Skillshare class that's up right now.
Going to be awesome. Gosh, thank you so much. Katie said she missed how you cropped it. So you just inside your actual gallery of your iPad, you can click edit and then click the little crop icon, and then you can crop it to whatever you want. But she just brought it in so that she didn't have that black. Yeah. So helpful. Kelley, thank you so much. You guys, if you want those assets, you can just go to the link directly below the video. Kelley has those ready for you amongst a lot of other awesome, growing, exciting elements for this space, because if you haven't seen, she's got quite the collection of collage aspects and elements, which is very exciting.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving to people in the US. And happy Monday to everybody in the world.
Yeah. No case of the Mondays right here. No case of the Mondays.
All right.
Okay.
I love you. You're fabulous. Thanks,
love
everybody.
You back. Have the best day, everybody.